So this is my take on the SRPJ43 black and green dial Kosuke Kawamura watch. For this build, I'm going with a classic submariner watch case with a black bezel insert. The movement will be an NH36 day date in black, the dial will be the Kosuke Kawamura dial, and I've got something fun planned for the hands which should make the overall style pop really quite nicely. The case alone is actually more expensive than all the other watch parts combined for this build, and I'm glad I decided to pay the extra cash. It may sound silly, but even things like the clasp mechanism feel top notch. I chose the black NH36 with the Japanese version of the day as I find just more befitting to the build. Looking at the dial, it's definitely very interesting with loads of subtle details and a bit of depth added to it thanks to the outer minute ring. But I just can't help myself, so let's have a quick sneak peek to see what it looks like on top of the movement. I'll save the hands reveal for later and jump to taking the bracelet off the case first. So let's start by placing the face on the movement. Since it's made for just one position, the dial only has one set of feet, and I'm going to need to give the backside a quick clean since it's transparent and anything here could be visible from the front. Once on, I do want to check it's all working as intended, enjoying the double action on the day dial and checking that the date dial clicks over smoothly. Then we need to position the hands at midnight. This is simple to do, just rotate the crown as if turning the hands until the date clicks over and just stop there. Precisely there. In theory now you can set your hands at midnight and they should be aligned just perfectly. In theory. Let's get the hands on now, and as you can see, I found a fun little set that really does fit with the retro futuristic vibes going on with this dial. Checking the alignment, and yeah, that's pretty much perfect. I'm happy with that. Let's see when the date clicks over. So, okay, about 4 or 5 minutes past midnight, could be better, but I'm not going to fuss over that too much. Now let's see if the hands are all nice and straight and don't touch, and yeah, looking good on that front also. At this point the movement, the dial, the hands are all done and I don't want to touch them anymore, so I'll clean up the dial as best as possible and set this all aside for later. Let's get the case ready for installation. Once open, I can remove the rubber O-ring and give it a quick lubrication. This case is rated to 300 meters water resistance, and while I absolutely do not intend to test this fact in anything more than the depth of a normal size swimming pool, I do like knowing that the rubber is lubricated and won't dry out on me anytime soon. Time to give the inside of the case and the glass a really good clean. We can now install the movement into the case and prepare the stem and crown. The stems that come with the movements are always too long and it's up to us to cut them to length. And as it goes in, we do get our first look at the design mostly completed, and I have to say I am really impressed. I can now screw on the crown to the stem for the first time and install the new stem back into the case. This now allows me to check that nothing is rubbing inside, so with the crown I'll just take some time to rotate the hands all around inside, making sure they are completely free to turn, and if I've not made any mistakes along the way, that should be the case. Okay, everything seems to be in order. I can now cut the stem to the right length. For this, I'll pull out the crown as if I was going to adjust the time, and measure the distance between the crown and the end of the crown screw on the case. This is the amount of the stem that we need to cut off for a perfect fit. So out comes the stem, off comes the crown. I can measure and mark my cut, then snap off the excess. It's as simple as that. I do need to quickly file out the ends round again just so that it makes it easier to screw the crown back on. Good, I can now place the stem back in the watch, press it into place, and screw it in. Oh, so yeah, I cut it too short. Well, you know what guys, it happens to the best of us, or so I'm told. No worries, we simply take the stem back out, cut off a tiny sliver of thread and put the crown back on, and try again. Everything turns as it should, and it screws nicely in place, just where it's supposed to be. I feel like we're reaching the end of this one, guys. But first, we have to take the stem out again. Wait, what? Yeah, that's right. We have to take it out again. Since everything is now dialed in, we can secure it with a dab of Loctite. Just the tiniest drop will do, and it should hold the crown nice and safe without me worrying about it falling off. I can screw the case back on and reattach the strap. The final step is going to be adjusting the strap size to fit my weirdly tiny wrists, and we should be good to go. Here is the watch in all its glory. That dial with the black day-date wheels below it is really quite something, and those hands work just as I imagined them to. The case is really good, it feels amazing, nice and hefty, and the clicks are so satisfying. And the pièce de résistance is the domed sapphire crystal on the top with the blue AR coating that really adds to the three-dimensional side of the dial. Just look at it, it's gorgeous. Although now that I'm looking at it, I can't get over the idea that something's wrong. So yeah, I wore the watch for a couple of days and I really just couldn't get this nagging thought out of my head that something wasn't right. So I did what most people would normally do. I went to Reddit and asked the kind guys at Seiko Mods what they thought about it, sent over a pic, and they confirmed my suspicions. The way I see it now, the dial with the black chapter ring just sort of floats within the case. It's not homogeneous, it's not part of the case. It just doesn't work for me. And the more I was staring at it, the more this was glaringly obvious. Something had to be done. Thankfully, the solution was staring at me from the start. Another failed build that I didn't like and that would be cannibalized for this one. The main components of my current build being the dial and movement, I simply need to take these out and swap them back into the other case. This new case is much smaller, much simpler, and is a 36mm titanium case. Once everything is cleaned up and installed, I can just lay back and enjoy the result. And I am simply blown away. While it's not the showstopper watch I had in mind, this new case turns it into a much more discreet, sporty design that works especially well given how crowded the dial already is. After trying on a few different straps, I decided the simple black silicone strap works best at highlighting the final design, a nice contrast against the titanium's matte grey. And since titanium cases are much lighter than steel, since I'm using a silicone strap instead of the steel links that came with it, and since the case is 36mm instead of 40mm, this design has become my daily driver since. A passe-partout watch that I can strap on and forget while still having some great features to it. But wait, I haven't forgotten about the original case, and with a much more classic champagne metal dial in it, it's now become something altogether completely different, and I love it just as much. That's it guys for today's build, and if you've enjoyed this video, you're going to love this video where I build my very first Seiko mod watch. Thanks a ton for being here guys, I really hope you've enjoyed, I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you very soon for some more crafting.